My name's Laura Christensen. I'm a certified Anusara yoga teacher. I've been practicing yoga for about 20 years and Anusara yoga for about 11 years. Yoga's been an amazing and powerful tool for me in that I had a situation about 10 years ago where both of my retinas detached and I was left with pretty serious nearsightedness and no peripheral vision, and I have pain in my eyes 24/7 for the last 10 years. And yoga, and specifically John Friend and the community, has really helped me to find ways to not only lessen the pain, but to really cope with it in a way that it doesn't define who I am. And I find and discover and awaken to something that's really worthy and meaningful inside myself every day, beyond and underneath all the pain. A daily yoga practice to me is not only getting on the mat every day, but also using the principles of the philosophy behind all my words, all my actions, and so it keeps me really steady and remembering how we're all connected and that my actions and what I do, they make a difference. Whether they're good, whether they're not so good, they have the ability to either uplift or diminish others around me. So a daily yoga practice helps me stay connected to others and keep me in track, keep me in line.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Urban. I've been teaching Hatha Yoga Flow for the last 10 years. I played competitive athletics all through my life, Division I field hockey in college, and I knew that movement brought me into a form of meditation. And when I discovered yoga, I was hooked because I just felt happy every time I did it as a result of moving my body and keeping my mind peaceful. These two sequences are really designed for the householder or anyone, for someone who wants to rediscover their core and strengthen and integrate the upper and the lower body. The hips really for people who are sitting, driving, biking, doing all kinds of athletics, to get in touch with the external and internal rotation of the hips, to feel the hamstrings and actually gain an appreciation for the fact that you can open up your body and not just think you have tight hamstrings and there's nowhere to go from there. Before I had children, I would say that you could do 90 minutes, 2 hours of yoga. Now that I have kids, if I can get on the mat 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, I feel blessed. So when you get on the mat, doesn't matter how long, even if it's a 5-minute Shavasana, it's well-deserved, and I'm certain you'll feel better.
My name's Stephanie Snyder, and I teach Vinyasa Yoga, and I've been teaching for about 10 years. My main teachers are, I think I've been influenced a lot by Ashtanga Yoga, and then Anna Forrest, and most recently Dharma Mitra. But also, I've been influenced by so many teachers, and I want to honor all teachers. The first time I tried yoga, it was sort of completely opposite of everything else in my life. But I was in college, and it kind of seemed like the thing that people were doing. And so I went and checked it out. What hooked me was Shavasana. I remember having a moment in Shavasana, even though it sounds really corny, where I thought, this must be what peace is when people talk about that. And I wasn't really dedicated to the practice after that, but it definitely planted the seed for what was to come. Working your core is so beneficial on so many levels, and that's one of the reasons why it was really important for me to include it in the DVD. And in the DVD, I do a 30-minute core sequence where we get to move around a lot. I think that a lot of people avoid core work because they feel like it's 100 crunches, which is really boring, and I would avoid that too. But it's also going to help you improve all of your poses, especially arm balances, inversions, poses like that. So I think of the core a lot as sort of the missing link, and if you can tune in there, it enhances everything. My home practice these days is whatever I can eke out of my day, basically. It depends on my day. I don't practice at the same time every day. I have a son, and I know that if I'm going to be with him all day, I get up super early so I can get my practice in, because I'm better for both of us after yoga. And otherwise, if I'm teaching that day, I'll have a longer practice. So some days it's 30 minutes, some days it's 3 hours. It just depends on the day, and I take what I can get.
Hi, my name is Elise Lorimer, and I teach Vinyasa Yoga. And I've been doing that for about 8 years or so. I've been practicing for probably almost 15 years, and I've been dancing pretty much my whole life long. So it was a natural progression moving me into the yoga practice. And now I get the benefits of the yoga practice, the spiritual aspect of things, as well as the fun of doing the physical part. In one of the sequences that we're doing a Mandala Namaskar. A Mandala Namaskar is basically a circular namaskar that goes around the mat. It breaks us out of the mold of what we traditionally do, of the linear aspect of moving forward and backward on the mat and keeping ourselves sort of on that linear plane, and breaking that open a little bit so that we can reconnect into our own essential nature and the sensuousness of who we really are. So getting an opportunity to practice the Mandala Namaskar gives us a chance to sort of reconnect into that curving linear movement that we all inherently have. So the Kalari practice that I do is an ancient Indian martial art form. It's been around for like 5,000 years or so. It sort of predates most other martial art forms that we know of. In that sense, the Kalari practice, what it gives me and the people that I introduce to it is this deeply rooted connection into the body. Sometimes when we come into Warrior One, we'll stay down a little bit lower and really work into the body, or we'll come into opening up the legs and really powering the legs up and the core from that. So the core meaning more, a little bit more the whole body, deep core connection rather than just the traditional, abdominal structure of the body. Start small. It's not like you're going to do an hour-and-a-half class at home necessarily, and then it's going to feel exactly the way that it does if you get an opportunity to go to yoga class. So recognize that and allow your yoga practice to build slowly and mindfully. Sometimes it's good to just commit to maybe perhaps doing 15 minutes a day for a while, maybe then building up to half an hour, or breaking out of that every once in a while if you have a little bit more time. But just literally setting aside some time to focus on yourself and on your body and the mind and how everything relates together, and that will bring you the best benefits that you can have, letting it build from there.
I'm Jason Crandall. I teach vinyasa-based yoga, and I've been teaching for a little over 11 years now. I think having a regular home practice is essential, just because it's such a good way to, on a daily basis, pay attention to what's happening in the body and relieve some of the stress and the congestion that can build up. And it's something, in all sincerity, to look forward to. It doesn't, at a certain point, it doesn't feel like a task. There are a few things that make the body and the breath and the mind feel better. So it's sort of a challenge to create the habit, but it's in some ways it's such a relief to do it. I think, if you have to decide, do I practice for a long period of time once a week, or do I practice for shorter periods of time throughout the week, I would definitely pick the shorter increments of time throughout the week. The body and the breath and the mind just need that regular recalibration. And so doing a longer practice is absolutely valuable, but it's the continuity, it's the continuing to come back to everything that's inside and the listening on a daily basis that's a really essential, vital thing to do. My daily practice really depends. Sometimes it's just in the evening. It's after I've had a long day. It's even after I've eaten. And I'll just do a real quiet practice of forward bends. Other times, maybe on weekends, if I'm home and I'm not out teaching somewhere, I'll do long practices on Saturdays and Sundays. Go through everything, have a nice vigorous experience. And then other days, it's just 30 minutes to an hour here or there, wherever I can create the time. And what I do is I just listen to what my body needs. Sometimes I have a ton of energy and I want to do strong standing poses and back bends and inversions. And other days I'll find I'm really fatigued and I need to do something that's going to be soothing and calming and not require a lot of energetic output. So my practice really varies on day to day. It just depends whatever I feel like I'm craving, whatever I need.